What's up, hybrids? Welcome back to another episode of the Fandom Hybrid Podcast. This is Hanako, and I am here with Anthony and Mike, and we are discussing the season 3 finale of The Boys. Finally, it only took us how long to get here?
Third time's a charm.
Yeah.
So the first 2 times we were supposed to record this, I got sick both times, stupid migraines. But now we're recording. There's a lot to talk about. I don't know where I want to start. Do we want to start at the beginning or do we want to talk about this ass whooping at the end?
Let's start at the beginning.
We're going to start at the beginning?
Yeah, might as well.
So we know what Victoria Newman was giving Homelander now on that yellow piece of paper. She was giving him Ryan's location.
This hoe. I swear to God, like really? Like she's just like she's really getting comfortable making power plays. Like she's definitely Edgar's daughter. Even though I don't think because she's not biologically his daughter. I think he adopted, but she learned all she could from him because she's pulling major power moves now.
I'm just like, it's one of those things where when you go, hey, Homelander, when you go ballistic, remember, I'm the one that gave you the address to your son's house. Like,
I mean, and I think that's what she did, because remember when she caught him in the barn, drinking his milk,
that sounds like a misrepresentation of what was actually happening.
Well, I mean, that's what he was doing when she caught him. When she walked in, he was drinking the milk from the bucket. We're not going to talk about...
I'm glad it was from the bucket at that point.
We're not going to talk about the... Oh, God. Can you imagine?
Yes, I can. That's terrible. It's very bad. I don't want to imagine it. Oh, my God.
I mean, this is...
Wait, you ever seen... I've been around cows. Yeah, the things that happen near those buckets would just...
I don't even want to know.
Look,
and don't give them any ideas. This is the show that built a 11-foot penis, so we don't need to give them no ideas.
11-foot tall pee-pee hole.
None. But yeah, when she confronted him in the barn and she was telling him, yo, you need to pull your shit together, blah, blah, blah. Remember, he jacked her up like he was about to fight her. She was like, look, I'm just suggesting a mutually beneficial relationship. And so she gave him the information to find Ryan. What did she get in return? We find that out later on in the episode. Oh, guess who's the new vice presidential nominee?
Man, she is shady as fuck. Like, damn.
But I mean, we knew that when we figured out she was the one popping heads at the end of last season.
Right. Yeah, but it's like to actually get Homelander to get the Deep to drown the other VP candidate. That's some next level shit.
So I don't think that was her plan. I think she was planning for Homelander to do it, but Homelander in his anger over everything that was going on and in his disgust over, oh, you guys are the people that I got for my family. Y'all are no family to me. I think Homelander was just willing. He just wanted to see how high everybody was willing to jump. And the Deep, was like, seriously, sir, that's treason. And Homelander's like, that's a big word. And he was like, whatever you say, sir. I was like, you are such a patsy. I don't even know if I want to say grow some balls, but I mean, just grow a pair.
Drink more Fresca.
I was going to mention Fresca because at the beginning of the episode, when we get to the part with Butcher, Hughie, and Soldier Boy, apparently Soldier Boy has already told Hughie and Butcher at this point that, Homelander is his son. And Butcher's like, well, how, that ain't really his son. He was like, yeah, I know. He seems to be taking it okay. And then Soldier Boy comes out of the bathroom and he's got alcohol in the glass and he's pouring Coke into the glass. And I was just laughing because I was like, oh, they're not doing product placement with Fresca this time. But I forgot Fresca is a Coca-Cola product.
Right.
Was that alcohol or milk?
It definitely was not milk. Soldier Boy is not the milk type. Hughie said he said he needed a drink.
I don't know because Pepsi and milk was made popular by Laverne and Shirley when they were in there, so maybe he didn't have Pepsi and he went with Coke.
Gross.
I'm just saying,
I'm
a
just
thing.
saying it's gross because Pepsi just by itself is gross, but to mix it with
This is true.
Gross.
I mean, they mix Coke and peanuts. It's like Coke and peanuts. Pepsi
Coke and peanuts
milk
make sense, especially if you are from the South, especially if you are
No,
from
it
Atlanta,
doesn't.
which we are. Yes, it does.
No,
Yes,
it doesn't.
Don't make me take your
unfortunately.
don't make me take your A-Town card.
It does.
You can, no.
Don't make me take your A-Town card. You've been living in the sticks too long, Mike.
You would think if I lived in the sticks, it would make more sense to me, but
no,
it doesn't make sense.
You live in the northern sticks,
right?
Not in the
he lives in the northern sticks.
Anthony
sticks.
and I, we're here.
Yeah,
whatever.
He lives up north in where Marietta area. Yeah, Kennesaw.
You trying to call me a Yankee? What the hell's going on here?
You're a Southern Yankee. Yeah, there you go.
Whatever. But I'm just saying, Pepsi and Coke is a thing. Maybe he did have Pepsi, so he used Coca-Cola and milk. So
no,
that's it.
Absolutely not.
Gross.
Oh, it actually says Soulja Boy is drinking milk mixed with Coca-Cola, popular hangover remedy. So,
he wins.
But why would he have a hangover?
I mean, I agree. It's disgusting.
He wasn't drunk. He needed a drink to get over the fact that he realized that Homelander was his son.
You saying all those drugs and shit that he's been doing, that he's not going to experience a little bit of a oh shit. Oh my God.
He has been self-medicating.
That is in his system
heavily.
No. He's probably like, I'm trying to think, what superhero is it? Oh my God, I'm trying to think. There's some superhero that is in my head, and my mind just went blank. But they literally can't. Oh, I think it's like the Flash. He can't get drunk because he burns.
Because he has a super metabolism. That's not.
I know, but I'm saying whatever it is that they did to Soulja Boy, we still don't know the extent of what they did with him when they experimented on him. Those kind
even the Hulk can get buzzed. Was proven in She-Hulk.
But I'm just saying. All the stuff that they shot up into Soulja Boy and that they gave him, cocaine and Jack is probably like an aspirin for him. I'm just saying.
Okay, that's fine. I'm just saying too.
But anyway, yeah. So Soulja Boy has told the story of his bundle of joy. I'm sorry. It's still, I know Lori called it, and I know it's been confirmed now, but it's just still so weird to think about Soulja Boy and Homelander being like biologically related, because even though they never knew anything about each other, have never spent any real time together except for that ass whooping that happened at Herogasm, you look at the two of them and you're like, yeah, nature over nurture. Prime example. Because both of them are douches, and both of them it's very obvious. Anyway, Soulja Boy seems to be taking that a little bit harder than you would think, but then we find out when later on when he's talking to Butcher, he's like, I always figured I had a couple of rugrats running around there. I actually wanted them. And I was like, yeah,
him and Crimson Countess.
Which I'm like, I guess when you're that much of a narcissist and you're that self-centered, it's easy to miss the signs, because I don't know how you couldn't tell that Crimson Countess just wasn't that into you. Because it's almost.
I mean, he's Soulja Boy. He has an ego. His ego probably said that everybody's. I'm Soulja Boy. I'm famous. I'm rich. I'm really strong. Everybody loves me. Everybody wants to fuck me.
Why wouldn't you be interested in me? And why wouldn't you want my attention and be with me? Yeah, have my babies and all that good stuff.
I know.
Also, real quick, how weird is it that each of them had a little fling with a redheaded superhero?
That is so. Not only that, I mean, remember, Soulja Boy mentioned that he started Herogasm with Liberty, who was Stormfront, who Homelander was also like, that's a level of like,
Yeah, sharing is caring taken too far. Like, yo, calm down with that.
that's like okay, I'm not even gonna make a real life parallel because I was no, but
No.
it happens. It happens,
Yeah.
especially in the celebrity world. But anyway, yeah, that
Yeah,
Oh,
so
I
I
know
guess
who you talking
Gen X
about.
has a type, you know.
I'm just saying it's just anyway. Um okay. I want to talk about A Train real quick because in this episode you do get a lot of not necessarily closure, but you do get them touching on pretty much all of the members of the Seven. We get to see all of them, or I don't even, are they still called the Seven?
I
Because it's
think
not
so.
like there's 7 of them anymore.
It's like 5 or
Starlight
6
is
of them now.
quit. Maeve is missing or was missing at the beginning of this episode. It's Homelander, the Deep, A Train. That's it. Oh, Black Noir. That's
Ish. So
it.
it's like the big 3.5.
Basically. But A Train goes to see his brother because, of course, his brother, now paralyzed thanks to Blue Hawk, and he's back in his blue. So the Kente suit is gone, thank goodness.
That shit was that was so cringeworthy. Like, bruh, just be you. You ain't got to be nobody else. Just be you. Ain't nobody gonna be mad because they know it's you. Don't try to be ultra woke. Like, I'm blackity black blinkety black. No, just be you, dog. Just let it go.
But I think the worst part of that is you walk into your brother's. First of all, I don't think I've ever seen any of them in regular clothes except for the women, because you've never seen the. Well, I think we may
Homelander,
see
no.
the
No.
Deep.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, the Deep. We've seen I think he had on a suit once.
Did he? I don't remember having to suit
I'm
on.
trying to remember
Maybe
when he
not.
was cast out, when he was
Maybe
staying
not.
with what's his name? Was it Archer or Black Archer or what the guy he was staying with? I think
Yeah,
he had on
Eagle or
some,
whatever. Yeah.
yeah. I think he had on some regular clothes then, maybe when the Gills were talking to him, but I don't remember. But yeah, I don't think we've ever seen them in like regular clothes. So anyway, A Train comes to his brother's house and he's got on the blue suit, and his brother looks at him and he was like, "Oh, so what happened to you?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, funny story. They gave me a new ticker. I'm gonna be able to run again." I was like, "You insensitive fuck, coming in saying this stuff to your brother who is sitting in a
Who can't walk
wheelchair.
anymore?
Like, you insensitive fuck. This is your brother." I mean, we already know A Train is insensitive. We already know he has a bit of a selfish streak. But I'm like, but this is your brother. This is the person who trained you. This is a person who helped make you who you are. And you're coming to him for what? Oh yeah, look at me. I'm gonna be able to do what I need to do, but I can't do it without you. Come back and try. Dude, read the room. We have not said that phrase in a long time. Read the fucking room. You are asking your brother to come back and train you so you can go back to living your life while he's stuck in a wheelchair because of some dumb shit you did by bringing Blue Hawk to, for a photo op and to apologize. And
Beyond the fact that he pretty much saw through him as soon as he told him. He was like, "Where'd you get the heart?" And it's like he knew exactly what the fuck was up. He's like, he wasn't fooling. A-Train wasn't fool. Couldn't put it past him for nothing.
and then
And
he
he
was
was
like, "Did
like,
you
I
kill Blue Hawk?" Oh, man. This is your big brother. Probably the one person in the world that know your lying face better than anybody.
or his
He
voice.
knows,
His voice when he was like, "No, man!" Like, really?
Right.
he knows all your tales.
All of them.
Insensitive motherfucker.
Bitch.
And his brother is mad, like rightfully so. He was like, "Look, I didn't want you to kill him. I wanted my kids to see him paraded in front of, in front of the TV in handcuffs, and know that he will be brought to justice. You just robbed that, you robbed that from me." And what was A Train's response? He was like, I got you justice or something like that. I was like, So
I'm still hoping for A-Train to get a redemption arc,
I
and
don't know, Anthony,
those
and I was
those
thinking about you when that scene was playing. I was like, and I don't know.
I don't know now. I'm starting to back away from that ledge. I don't think it's I don't know if it's gonna happen. I don't think this show is setting many of these characters up for redemption arcs, other than maybe
Maeve.
Maeve. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So since you mentioned Maeve, let me say that Maeve in this episode, at least towards the end, and I've said this before because first season, second season, I didn't really care for her character.
At all.
Didn't like her character most of this season. Towards the end of this episode, I was like, this is the Maeve I wanted. Where has she been this whole time?
Mm-hmm.
Because she actually stood up to Homelander. She stood up to the boys because they were, trying to stop Butcher and Soldier Boy from going after Homelander, because they were like, yeah, Soldier Boy is going to destroy everybody. He's going to kill a whole bunch of innocent people. We can't do this. Y'all, how many people have died because of Homelander? How many of your friends have died because of Homelander? Like, even if y'all don't kill him, he needs to be incapacitated. Something. They need to stick him in a box somewhere and put on ice. Put him next to his daddy. I mean, you want to be a family so much, you want to be with your pops. Go sit in the box next to him and wherever it is they sent him at the end of the episode. But I mean, this was the Maeve that I wanted. Now I will say this too. One of the things I think I don't like about Maeve is that I feel like with some of her lines, like, the whole thing that she said to Hughie when, of course, Maeve is trapped in the tower. The LGBTQ community, because of Starlight's Instagram video where Homelander admitted that Maeve was locked up somewhere, they got to the attorney general. The attorney general was coming to Voight Tower to, free her. So Ashley and the Deep had her moved. So she's in this armored truck. They try to sedate her. I don't know why they thought they was going to sedate her, but she kills all the people in there. She escapes. She shows up at Mother's Milk's apartment, Mother's Milk's apartment. And when Starlight and Hughie walk in, Hughie's like, "Oh, I'm glad to see that you're okay," and stuff. And she was like, what did she say? If you have a neon sign that says "Raw Dog Me, I'm a bottom," and I was just like, was that really
He
necessary?
is so
Like,
creative with dissing Hughie. It's like, God damn. I don't know where she gets this shit from. I'm like, that's just
but I don't
creative.
know. I feel like, and I don't know if it's just the way that the lines are being delivered or just the character in general. I feel like they're trying too hard to make her to be this unfeeling character, or this person that is a feeling character trying not to be an unfeeling character. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't like it.
I don't know. It kind of works. It kind
weird.
of works for me because we know, no, if you're watching the show, you know that she's a very sensitive and feeling person, and she has this mask. She's trying to hide that. She's been hiding that,
Right.
and it's because it's not who she really is.
I mean, they've been kind of playing it up that she's been putting on a facade this whole time.
Yeah.
Like, especially with showing that she's a lesbian and showing her having a relationship with Homelander, or it's like she's been hiding a lot of who she is, and they've kind of been building that to show that there's a lot more to her that she doesn't show everybody. So
And
she
I
has a
get
lot that
that.
she's hiding.
It just, I don't know. Some of the lines that she delivers where she's supposed to be putting off or putting forth that persona, I don't know, it just doesn't seem, and maybe it's not supposed to seem natural. Maybe that's the problem, because
I think that's the point. It's not supposed to be
that's the
natural
point.
for
But
her.
I don't know. It just, when she said it, it's so cringeworthy. It's like, it doesn't, like, if Butcher had said it, I would buy it. You know what I'm saying? If Mother's Milk said it, I would even buy it. But I don't know, coming from Maeve, it just feels weird. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I just need to I just need to go back and maybe rewatch it and just kind of reevaluate what I think about her character. I just something about the way they write her is just it feels weird to me. So I don't know.
Well, I don't think none of us can really speak to the pressure of being one person in public but someone else in private. So it's like, that has to be really hard on her, like pretending not to. All the time in the first season, going into the second season, pretending not like hiding that she's a lesbian. I know people who've had to come out of the closet like that was, and it's such a release for them that it's really hard. Like that's a really difficult thing to hide who you are inside, like to
But I
not
guess
be the person, and that can come
that's the
out
thing
different
because she's
ways, like come
around
out her being.
people. She's around people who accept her for who she is. So why put on this facade in front of them? I think that's probably the thing that bothers me.
Because
Like
she
even
doesn't know who she can trust. She doesn't know how they react, especially if she's around Homelander, who's like
but what I'm
the
talking
conservative.
about this specific scene, she is on the run and she came here because she trusts these people. So why still put on that facade?
I don't think she went there because she trusts them. She had nowhere else to go.
Yeah, there's nowhere else she can
That's
go.
not
Absolutely.
that's sort of a different. Like she, at the bare minimum, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So,
Okay.
there's not that much trust there, but it's like, well, I know they're at least on my side. Like, but she doesn't absolutely trust them at all.
And Huey's the easy target. It's like every time she sees Huey, she's like, okay, gay joke number one, see, raw dog
Maybe
joke
that's
number
what bothers
one,
me
bottom
too. I'm
joke number
so tired
two.
of her picking on Hughie. Like Hughie ain't did nothing wrong to you. Leave
Come
him
on,
alone.
everybody picks on Huey except
Yep,
Annie.
he's an
I
easy
mean,
target.
come
It's
on
like,
now.
and he doesn't say anything back. He's like, usually he's just like, hi Maeve, nice to see Maeve. Yes, Maeve. Okay, Maeve. Because he cares, but he's like, I don't want to talk back to her because I'm not trying to get into it with her. He just like
And
kind of
she
just
could
goes
break
along with
me
it.
too as
Yeah,
well.
she could
So.
break him like easily.
I guess I'll take that, but I'm just like maybe that's what's bothering me because why are you always so hard on Hughie? What has Hughie done to you? Like
Exist.
nothing.
That's what Hughie has done.
And I
He
guess
exists. He looks.
if I guess in a way, if you look at that answer closely, Hughie is able to be who he is without it. Like
Yeah.
yeah, people rib on him, but he's still able to be who he is. So I get it when you say that. Like
Yeah.
she's not able to be who she is completely, and she has to hide. And okay, I
And
get it.
also Huey is somewhat part of the inciting incident for the whole current storyline we're on. Like everybody was kind of stuck in the same place until his girlfriend got splattered. And
Yeah.
that he sort of set everything in motion. So their lot in life and what's going on with everyone now is started with Huey.
Technically speaking, it started with A Train, but okay, I get
Well,
what
okay.
you're saying.
Tomato, tomato, potato, potato.
Yeah, tornado. Casplato. Yes.
I get it. I get it.
Advertisement. Yes.
No, I hate advertisement. It just sounds so weird.
Advertisement.
Anyway,
Advertisement.
oh my god. Okay, but yeah. So anyway, I guess I'll not be so hard on Maeve. Like I said, it's just I don't know something about her just always bothered me. But I guess it is that whole her trying so hard to present herself in one way. It's just yeah, I guess that's what it is because like I said towards the end of the episode I had no problem with her. I had no problem with her during the fight. I had no problem when she was there, when at the end when Annie came to see her, she was like, you're like a fucking like you're a walking Hallmark card. But she was also able to be herself. She was there with Elena, and she wasn't as yeah, she wasn't as off-putting then. She was still kind of okay, I've got you at arm's length, but it wasn't as obvious and it wasn't as crass. And I think maybe that's probably what it is. I don't, but okay, I'll leave Maeve alone. After all, she was the hero of the episode. So I'll leave her alone for now.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, okay. So we're gonna talk about Black Noir now. Just to get it out the way. Because we saw in the last episode, Black Noir has a very turbulent history with Homelander, let's say. And I really thought at first that he was just gonna kind of not come back until whatever this resolution was between Homelander and Soldier Boy, because not only are you running from Soldier Boy because of what you did to him in the past, now you know that Homelander is pissed off with you too, because in a sense you abandoned him. And you know how Homelander is about being abandoned. He has
He has
major abandonment
abandonment issues.
issues. So
Mhm.
the fact that he came back in this episode, I was surprised. But it's so funny because when they showed him coming back, he's walking down the hallway in Voight Tower, and he almost looked like he was coming to fight. And I mean, even the little cartoon characters were coming like they were about to fight, like, yeah, we're about to do something. So he comes in and he shows Homelander a sign, and he was like, Soldier Boy will come. We have to kill him. Okay. So
Bad
later,
timing.
yeah, later on, and this is right around, this is when he's really thinking about what's going on. I think he had just found out that Maeve had escaped, and when they're getting ready, or when I should say, when Black Noir is getting ready, he's sharpening his sword, and Homelander comes into the room, and he's kind of feeling him out. He was like, "You do know that sword is not going to do anything to him," and he admits to Black Noir. He was like, "He's my father." And they lied to me this whole time. They kept him from me, the one thing in the world I wanted, and they kept him from me. And he was like, I don't know if I want to kill him now. And Black Noir is like, yeah, we have to kill him, we must kill him. And he walks over to Black Noir, and he was like, people say that you're hard to read, but I can see your expressions. He was like, I can see through that. I can see through your mask. Like, no, literally, I can see through your mask. I can see your scarred face. I can see that crooked smile. And I was like, oh. So if Black Noir has been making any kind of facial expression about the whole Soldier Boy thing, Homelander can probably see, like, oh, this dude knew some shit, because I'm sure when he admitted to Black Noir that Soldier Boy was his father, Black Noir's face probably didn't change, and that was how he knew. He was like, did you know that I had a father running around out there, or that I had a father out there? And Black Noir just kind of stopped for a minute. He was like, yep. And I will say this, and we talked about this, I think, a few episodes ago when we were talking about it. I really hope they're not trying to make Homelander a sympathetic character and not trying to give us a redemption. But like, there were a couple of times in this episode where you really could see his vulnerability and a little bit of humanity coming from him when he is reunited with Ryan, and he's talking to Ryan, and Ryan was like, aren't you mad at me for what I did? And Homelander looked like he was about to cry, like, no, son, what you did was a mistake. I will never ever be mad at you for something like that. I will always love you. And you see Ryan breaks down, and I was like, okay, here y'all go on the Homelander redemption train. Choo choo. But I was like, I'm not gonna fall for it. I'm not gonna fall for it. I mean, we said it a couple of episodes ago. If there's one thing that I think Homelander is genuine about, I do think it is his love for Ryan. I will say that. The other thing in this episode, I do feel like he really thought of Noir as his friend. And so that betrayal that you see on his face when Noir says, nods, yes, I knew you had a
That's
dad.
real.
The way his face broke when he realized that the one person he considered his best friend had known about this his entire life and never said anything. I was like,
Yeah, I can't remember if it was last episode or the episode before where he was like, Black Noir is like, I know that's my dude. That's a person that I know is on my side that I can count on, I can rely on. And then you've been lying to me my whole freaking life. Like, you didn't tell me. At some point, you could have said, your dad is out there somewhere.
right.
That's all it would have taken. And he would
Yeah,
have.
but how do you have
But
that
then,
conversation? It's like,
yeah, especially
how?
when you were the reason that his father is sitting in a tank somewhere in Russia being experimented on.
Well, how about
Like,
this?
yeah, how do you have that conversation?
Look at you now. I mean, the guts all over the room. Just look at you
Yeah,
now.
but it's like he did not want. There's no chance that he wanted Soldier Boy knowing who his dad is, much less finding him. He realized that if he told Soldier Boy that his dad was probably still alive
You
in
mean
Russia,
Homelander?
he would have flown his ass to Russia, broke him out, and brought him back. And
I mean, he could have
then
just stuck with the company line and just said that, yeah, he died.
okay, but
That
he's
was the
still lying.
company
But
line.
he would have still found out he's lying. He's lying
Well, he
to
could have
him.
been like, at that point, he could have been like, well, I just assumed he was dead. Like,
I mean,
we
yeah.
hadn't
I
heard
mean, think about it.
anything.
I'm sure he didn't keep up with them once they gave
No.
it to the Russians. He was probably like out of sight, out of mind. The Russians have him. I'm not going to worry about him.
They dissected him. They took him apart to figure out how he worked to try to reverse engineer the serum or whatever. I just assumed he was dead. But, I can tell you that, yeah, he was probably your dad.
Either way, his outsides were going to become his insides. It's like either he lies to him about him not even telling him about his father, or telling him about that he had a father but he's dead. When he shows up, either way, he's going to lose some guts. He's losing guts either way.
Look at you now, bruh.
Look at you now. Noir, look at you now.
Homelander was like, and again, he was so pained to have to do that. But yeah, he reaches into Black Noir's chest cavity.
I was gonna say, you are my brother.
My brother.
My brother's Homelander had the high ground.
Yeah, he had the high ground. Yeah.
But yeah, he rips out Noir's everything.
And I'm sure there was no sand in the room whatsoever. I'm almost positive.
That scene kind of reminded me of was it the Injustice run of DC where Superman put his hand through Joker's chest?
Yeah. Well, I saw that in the animated version. He did.
I saw the comic version. It's like Superman, like after he killed Lois, he just went.
He pulled a Nolan, which is interesting considering how similar those characters are.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Poor Black
I got your spine.
His little barnyard friends surrounded him as he.
At least he wasn't alone, They were there with him.
But I'm kind of
you'll be in the sweet embrace of Christ the Lord. I was like, really, Christ the Lord?
I was like, y'all really had to throw that in there, like,
all right, whatever.
Poor Irving.
There's a part of me that for a moment I was wondering. I was like, so is he really dead? Because when you think about when you recall the flashback where we see, actually it's two flashbacks, when you recall Mallory's memories of what happened and you saw exactly what had happened to Black Noir's head, part of his brain had been like, he was fucked up. And then when you see his own recollection of what happened, the cartoon version of what Soldier Boy did to him, I was like, there's no way in hell he should have been able to survive that. So I was wondering, okay, so did Voight keep him alive through artificial means? So when he was laying there on the floor, I was like, I wonder, is there any way that they can save him? Like, is he really dead? Or is this like, did they make him immortal? We just don't know. But then when Homelander walked into the room with the Deep and A-Train and Ashley and put the helmet on the table, I was like, oh, I guess he went back to finish the job. Because other than that, I'm like, where else would he have gotten a helmet?
Yeah, I think he's done for.
Yeah, Homelander probably felt bad afterwards, like, okay, that was still my friend. Let me go at least, I don't know, maybe he had somebody come and clean him up and I don't know, not just leave him on the floor. I don't know. But that whole scene with Homelander and Ashley, A Train, and the Deep, that scene was so uncomfortable because he's sitting there telling them, and he was like, yeah, well, first of all, when he tells them that Noir is dead, he doesn't even say it to them. They're discussing, what they should do as far as Starlight and Maeve and all this other stuff, and they're like, well, where's Noir? Homelander just puts the helmet on the table, and the Deep is looking like, you could tell it was in his mind what happened, but at the same time, he was like, nah, he didn't do that. He didn't do that. Oh shit, he did that. Oh, I'm gonna have to really kiss his ass now. That's what was going through Deep's mind because he was trying to figure out, how do I end up not like that? Not like that. But Homelander,
what concerns me is their whole discussion. They're like really scared of Soldier Boy. Like, do we need to evacuate the tower? Do we need to do this? Do we need, and the only thing Homelander says, we need to project strength. Like, his confidence must really be shaken with the Soldier Boy thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But they all sound kind of scared.
They sound scared, and I feel like Homelander maybe had the confidence then because of the fact that, okay, Soldier Boy reached out to me to tell me that I was his son. Like, he didn't have to do that. So I think maybe in Homelander's mind, he thought, okay, Soldier Boy reached out. He even said, hey, if they had told me, I would have stepped back and let you take the shine, because what was it? He said, what father doesn't want that for his son?
Mm-hmm.
For him to use those kind of words, especially in Homelander's mind, this is something Homelander has wanted for so long. Just a sense of someone that he belonged to, someone that would love him, someone, that would make him feel like, oh, this is it. This is my family. This is where I'm supposed to be. This is where I belong. So I think maybe that phone conversation changed it for Homelander. Instead of him being scared, he was like, oh no, he wants to be my father. We don't have to be scared of him. We just have to show him, hey, we're all united and it'll be okay. I don't think he expected for Soldier Boy to actually have the reaction that he had at the end of the episode when he was like, yeah, you're fucking disappointment. But, the way that he speaks to them when he's in there is like, you can tell he's kind of at the end of his rope. Like, Black Noir's betrayal, you can tell that cut deep to the point where he's really like, I'm not trying to play nice anymore. I'm not trying to spare anybody's feelings. I don't give a fuck about none of y'all. The Deep, you're a pussy. A Train, you're a pussy. Ashley, take the wig off. You're a coward.
That's the.
That was so horrible. Because she was like, what wig? And he was just looking at her like, bitch, really?
Bitch. I mean, damn. I mean, but we all kind of figured that with her just consistently pulling her hair out, that there's no way that she still has a full head of hair. We're like, there has to be something. But
I didn't think it was that
to that extent, like,
because it was like the last time when we actually saw her do it, she pulled from towards the back. So, if you got a little bit of patches or whatever, you can kind of pull your hair down over it and like cover it up. But no,
she, them damn little wisps of hair that she had left was just like, god damn.
Will-o'-the-wisp.
Yeah, exactly. The ash of the wisp. It's like, even like, it's like A Train and the Deep were just like, oh shit, god damn, they nobody could look at her.
A Train's facial expressions in this whole scene, because when Homelander said something, he was talking to them and he was like, he was talking about how when they gave him the team, how he was like, yeah, y'all aren't a fucking team, whatever. And the Deep is like, Mr. Homelander, sir, I've always tried to help. He was like, what? Like when you ran away from home, Herogasm? Or maybe when you
Where you
fucked an
fucked an
octopus.
octopus?
His face was like, "Woo."
Yeah, he was like, I was hoping that team would be the family I never had. And then I got y'all
You.
motherfuckers.
Right. And that's when he was like, you really want to help Deep? He was like, come here. And the Deep got up. I mean, he's sitting there looking at the helmet on the table. He was like, what the fuck is he about to do to me?
But the look of disgust on his face talking to them, talking about Homelander, I mean, he's absolutely disgusted with the people that's sitting in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Did he get nominated for anything? Because
Yeah, Anthony Starr got nominated for something.
yeah, he's an incredible actor. Just with his facial expressions, say it all.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, so this is when he tells the Deep to come here. He whispers something in his ear. And the Deep is like, sir, that's treason. He was like, that's such a big word. Whatever you say, Mr. Homelander, sir. Or I'll do it, sir, whatever he said. Yeah. But then he starts going in on A-Train, like, how could you kill one of your own? I was like, yeah, I knew that was coming. The whole Blue Hawk thing. It's like, yeah, so no, what y'all are about to do, y'all are about to stand in front of everybody and tell them that we are the true justice. I was like, oh, this is about to be ugly.
Yep.
So yeah.
I mean, it's like, or I see, it's like you can't really feel sorry for any of them. It's like, y'all kind of brought every last piece of this on y'all self.
All of y'all
like
pieces
every
of
piece
shit
of it
to varying degrees.
Yeah, all these things are self-inflicted wounds. All he's doing is just talking about him,
exposing them.
Yeah,
he's just exposing the wounds. It's like, or scalps or whatever he's exposing.
Especially the shout out about the octopus.
Yeah,
he just called about
like first you're eating them, then you're fucking them. Like what's the deal here? But when the next scene after that is when we see the potential vice president candidate, and I can't remember what his name is, but he's going out to the pool and he's talking to someone and he's talking about, yeah, I'm expecting a good phone call in the morning. I guess at this point this is when he's expecting to be named as the vice presidential candidate for Bob Singer. He gets into the pool and he goes for a swim up under the water. And the next thing we know, we see his body float up, and then here comes the Deep. And the Deep looks around. He's like, shit. I'm like, yeah, dude, you better hope there's no cameras in that house.
First of all, how does he have such a nice pool that it doesn't have lights in it? He didn't notice that. I mean, it's like most pools at nighttime, they have lights where you're swimming and they have lights on. I'm like,
I mean, he may not have turned them on.
Yeah.
It's as simple as
that. I mean, if you think about it, you're at your house. Far as you know, nobody else is there. You going for a swim in your own private pool. He probably keep us in danger. Like, especially if you are somebody of that, of that stature, chances are he has security around. So he's very naive and think, well, I won't even call it naive. He's very secure. He's probably thinking, yeah, nobody's going to come in here and get me. And if he hasn't really done anything to piss anybody off, why would they come after him? I mean, granted, he's a politician. He's probably about to be named vice president. You would think he would be a little more, I don't know, diligent about his security and about what's going on around him. But, he wasn't thinking about that in that moment. And like you said, that pool was dark. So is the Deep's costume. So yeah, he didn't see him. And Deep is dark haired. So he didn't see him.
And he may not have wanted to mess up his ambiance. I mean, he has all the soft light around. You turn on the pool light, all of a sudden it's a party,
Mm-hmm. He might have been expecting someone.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know.
I don't know. It just seemed kind of weird. But it's like, that just goes to show, like, I mean, that's some covert shit. It's like Deep could make a nice living killing people in pools, like if he wanted to, or killing people in the ocean. It's like just drag them down, hold them down underwater, no effort. It's like,
I don't know. I feel like at some point he would start to be suspected.
At some point.
At some point.
For all we know, he could have been the one that turned off the pool lights.
This is true.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I said, old boy just didn't think about it. He was probably just like, okay, whatever, it's my pool. He probably didn't.
And he has people for that. Peeves, can you turn on the pool lights for me and the warmer?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Turn on the warmer, pee in your pool. That'll raise the temperature.
Oh God.
Okay. But anyway,
but yeah, that was messed up. But I mean, it's like, I mean, this people are just really like, damn, like so like underhanded in it. Like this episode, it's like it just seems like everybody had like an ulterior motive. It's like even Maeve had an ulterior motive. Like even like didn't seem like it. She still like kind of went behind their backs when she smashed the perfume toxin. It's like she like act like she was going along with it, then she just snatches it and breaks it. And it's like,
I think maybe at the time she probably was thinking about it. I don't know. Because if you think about what they know right off the bat or right here, Soldier Boy does seem like he might be the bigger threat, simply for the fact that he could take away their power at any time with his power. So maybe she was going along like, okay, so in order to keep thousands of people from dying, we take out Soldier Boy. I mean, if you think about it, Maeve already has innocent deaths on her conscience. So maybe she didn't, yeah. So maybe she didn't want that. And she was like, okay, yeah, let's go along with the whole we got to disable Soldier Boy thing. But then when Butcher starts talking, and he's like, no, we got to get rid of Homelander. That's the more important thing. I think at that point she was like, you know what? Yeah, let's get rid of Homelander first, because Homelander ruined my life. Homelander is the thing that is keeping me scared. That is keeping me from being who I am, from being who I want to be. Because as long as Homelander is in this mood, Elena will never be safe. So I don't think that she had planned to double cross them the whole time, but I think at that point she had to make a decision which one was more important. And for her, Homelander. Again, one of the things about Maeve that they have shown, she is, in a sense, kind of selfish when it comes to certain things. But in this instance, I don't blame her for that selfishness, because she's not only thinking about herself, she's thinking about the other people Homelander has killed. Like, she doesn't really have any history with Soldier Boy. You know what I'm saying? Even in her mind as a suit, if she knows what Soldier Boy went through, oh yeah, your team sold you out. They sent you to the Russians. They tortured you. They experimented on you. I have a good reason to be doing the shit that he's doing. Why am I going to mess with that? I'm not going to touch it. Homelander, on the other hand, that's personal to her. So, and again, it's personal for good reason. She has a good reason to be selfish and to want Homelander to die as opposed to Soldier Boy, because that's the only way she's going to get her life back. I mean, we don't know how long he's kept her hostage in Voight Tower. We don't know how much time has passed.
It's been several episodes.
Yeah, so we don't know how long it's been. Timeline wise.
Actually, it feels like the whole season, I feel like.
Well, I mean, considering this is only an 8-episode season, yeah, you might be right, because I don't think we've seen her since episode 4?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I mean, she does. Okay, first of all, the fact that Frenchie can just cook up a nerve agent just in a random ass lab in New York, not once, but twice.
You know, Frenchie is like the what Laura would say, the MacGyver of the
Yes.
drug industry.
Mm-hmm.
I got some Clorox bleach, some Windex, and there's some WD-40 over there. I got
And
you.
some M&Ms.
Right. I got you. Whatever how you need, I got you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But he does, get the nerve gas. What is it? Novichok? I think that was what it was called.
Something like that.
Yeah, he gets it. He takes
Yeah.
it to
Bless
MM.
you.
And I will say this, the conversation that him and MM had, I was like, I'm so glad somebody told MM, look, stop trying to hide all your shit from your daughter.
Yeah.
Because he was sitting there feeling so guilty about the fact that he punched the shit Todd in the last episode, which we love.
He had it coming.
Don't remind me about Todd. Please don't.
I know.
Well, I'm gonna have
Some
to
bitch.
because the end of the episode we see him again, and so I'm gonna
Oh
have
my
we're gonna
God.
have to talk about Todd.
He didn't hit him hard enough.
Yeah, exactly.
He did
He
not.
didn't hit him hard enough.
He did not. But yeah, he's sitting there feeling bad because he was like, my daughter, I tried my best to keep my shit away from Janine, and the only thing she's gonna remember is that her dad punched out her stepdad. And I was like, okay, so yeah, it is stepfather. Which again, this bothers me because if you think about it, the end of last season, but from the end of last season to this season now, it's only been just over a year that's passed. MM and Monique were still technically married at the end of last season. She was in hiding, but they were still married. So I'm like, so you mean to tell me within a year, a little bit over a year, she done got divorced and remarried?
Mm-hmm.
And to somebody like Todd?
I feel like we had this conversation
We
already.
had this conversation about how she went after somebody who was the complete opposite of Marvin. Yes, we had this conversation. I'm still questioning it because I'm sorry. There's
a lot that could be said that we're not saying.
I mean,
but I think our listeners understand.
I mean, there's opposite and there's opposite. Like
which is what I understand. You want to go in the opposite direction. You want somebody who's not like your ex or who doesn't have the same kind of issues or whatever. But it is obvious from a mile. Todd has very different issues that are very, very on the surface.
But the issue that you are sort of raising but not really addressing, which I think we're all kind of is sort of a sensitive subject, is the turnaround was so quick, between divorcing and getting remarried.
Right.
Use a hoe. I'm sorry. I
won't even say that because I have seen relationships where people start dating, they get engaged, they get married within a span of months. I get that.
But you go from a divorce mm-hmm. dating and then marry that quickly. I haven't seen that. I don't think I have.
I feel
I've seen like a couple of years.
I've seen it, but I guess
within several months.
I guess the real thing that it is to me is that I feel like it's more so like a trauma response. Like, because if you think about it, Monique and MM, they were married. They were pretty happy. I mean, even when MM was locked up, they were still married. He came home, there was no issue. But then they had to go on the run, or they had to go into hiding because they got put in danger. And it was because of MM's work with Butcher, going after the soups and stuff, that put them in that danger. So I can kind of understand that maybe Todd made her feel safe because of the fact that he was so opposite. But again, for me, I think the thing is, like I said, there is opposite. There is, okay, you're nothing like my ex-husband, blah, blah, blah. And then there is so far opposite and off the spectrum that it's like, huh? Because it's like for somebody like Monique to be married to somebody like who is obviously pro-black. Let's just put it in those contexts. Obviously, like he's a black man. He's that black man.
Pro-black hip hop head.
Yes, I don't see Monique going in the direction of somebody so completely opposite. Like Todd is borderline racist, except for the fact that he's married to a black woman and has a black stepchild. It's almost like he's like that. Yeah, I support Homelander and Stormfront and everything, but I'm not racist because I have a black wife and I have a black. He's that type of white person to me.
Maybe Todd is a soup and his power is mind control.
I don't know if I think
or subtle influencing.
Right, he's a Jedi.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
I'm not a racist.
Because other than that, the only other thing I can think of is
your daughter belongs to me.
Todd might got that. He might got good big dick energy, and that's why she's with him.
Sir, is that a third leg you were born with?
Maybe that's a superpower. I don't know. But the whole thing just seems so weird to me, especially considering you have a child in the midst of all of this. You go from one marriage to another that quickly, and then the type of person you are exposing your child to, like he has taken her to a superhero rally for Homelander. Do you not remember what the fuck you were on the run for? Why you were in hiding? Like, none of that makes sense to me.
Maybe it'll all be explained in season 4.
It's got to, because this shit don't make sense.
It doesn't make sense, Hanako.
It does not make sense. As a black woman, it don't make sense. None. Nada. Not a bit of sense. It just doesn't.
Not am.
Anyway. So anyway.
Okay, so now we get to the brawl.
We can get to the brawl, yes. So of course, Frenchie, Annie, Maeve, Butcher, Kimiko, they all get together. They go to Voight Tower to confront.
You guys said Maeve and Butcher locked. Hughie
yes, first. They sure did. Yes. So they're getting ready to go to Voight Tower. This is when Maeve throws away the nerve agent, and she was like, "No, he's right. Homelander has to die, because Soldier Boy is about to like light up. Him and Starfire are about to. They're about to fight. Did I just say Starfire? Wow, wrong,
yeah, you did.
wrong superhero.
Wrong universe.
Him and Annie, because I forgot she's not Starlight anymore. She's Annie. They look like they're about to fight. Like they're about to go at it. And Maeve is like, nope, Homelander has to die. We're not about to fight. Butcher locks them in the safe. He, Maeve, and Soldier Boy, they head to Voight Tower while, the rest of them are trying to get out of this safe. So when they finally do get out the safe, they're trying to figure out, they're like, okay, yeah, we need to go after them. And MM is like, so how are we supposed to do this? We can't, Maeve got rid of the one thing that could take down Soldier Boy. And French is like, well, I think there is one lab here in New York that might have the ingredients that I need to make the Novichok. And what was it MM said? He was like, the most important night of my life, and I gotta rely on coked out Euro trash. It was like, you can't even have a little bit. I mean, I understand you mad, but you can't even have a little bit of respect. Dude just told you that you were one of the greatest men he's ever known, and you got to call him coked out Euro trash. I feel offended. Trash. I feel offended.
You're offended for Frenchie's back. Oh yeah.
I am.
I mean, while it's Well, it's true at the moment. Like,
It is.
Yeah. Where's the lie?
But the coked out
yeah.
Trash is about to save your ass because he's about to go find a lab in New York so that he can make you some more nerve agent. What friend of yours is going to do that for you?
But he's telling the truth. He's relying on a coked out Eurotrash.
But again, the sober Eurotrash might not have thought, hey, there's a lab where I can go and make this shit.
I don't know if
he would have thought about it. I don't think he would have suggested it. He probably would like,
has Frenchie been sober in the last 30 years? Like,
he has. Remember, I mean, he was for a while. I think he was for a long while, especially after what happened with Mallory's grandchildren.
Oh yeah, he was.
He was, but after this whole thing with what happened with little Nina abducting him and Kimiko and Cherie,
he's back on that horse.
Yeah, I mean, Kimiko slapped him. She was like, "Yo, you've been doing this shit ever since we got back from Little Nina's." And I mean, I understand he was upset. He was like, "Yeah, when Little Nina said about me was true, blah blah blah." And she was like, "You can't think that. That's not what I see." He was like, "What do you see?" She was like, "Mon Cherie." I was like, why are they not together again? Why? I don't understand. Anyway,
that was his trauma response.
Anyway,
I
so they get out of the safe. Frenchie and Kimiko decide they're going to go to the lab to try to make more nerve agent, while Annie, Hughie, and MM are going to Voight Tower to try to stop Soldier Boy and the whole Soldier Boy and Homelander thing. I'm like, okay, so you got one super, you've got one kind of, so I don't even think Hughie is a temp soup at this point, because I think the V that he had in his system has worn off. And then you have MM, who is big and has a grudge, but has no superpowers. Yeah.
That we are aware of.
And all the people that they're going to fight are all souped up, including Butcher.
I don't know.
Who has taken another dose of Temp V, even though he knows it's going to kill him.
I just really think that I'm surprised it didn't come out a little bit with Mother's Milk, like showing that he has some limited invincibility, because after all that shit, when Stormfront blew up that car and he like rolled out with like hardly any damage on it last season, I'm like, everybody was like, does he have powers? He has to have powers. There's no chance that he wouldn't have been fucked up from that. And
I think that's one of the storylines they may have in their back pocket, just in case they, boost the ratings, or
which is really going to be interesting if they do bring that out.
Yeah, because Butcher's going to be like, "Oh, you're a soup, eh? You cunt! You're giving me all that shit, eh?"
Right.
You're one of them from the very start, you cunt.
Both of y'all, your accents are horrible. Hush.
Hey, I never proclaimed to be.
But anyway, so over in Voight Tower, Homelander is there, and the three amigos come up: Soldier Boy, Butcher, and Maeve. And Homelander he's really trying to master this whole family reunion thing. He's talking to Soldier Boy. He's like, "Look, I don't want to fight. I just want to talk." And of course, we know Soldier Boy is there looking for Black Noir. And he was like, "Yeah, Noir is dead. I killed him." And Soldier Boy is like, "Why?" "Because he didn't tell me about you." He was like, "I just don't want to fight you. I want us to be a family. I'm your son.
I'm your blood.
I'm your blood, And then he brings Ryan out. So he took Ryan.
I'm your father. No.
He's
no,
like,
that's impossible.
It's not true.
Like, this is my son. Hi, Grandpa. I was like, no.
That was so cringeworthy. It's like Ryan looks so uncomfortable saying that. He was just like, "Hi, Grandpa." It's just like kids going to a family reunion where it's like, remember you go to a family reunion and nobody there, and they're like, "This is your aunt so and so." You're like, "Hey, aunt so and so," like don't touch me. Like, I don't know you. Like, no.
Don't you remember who I was? Yeah,
I remember you when you were this big and you were walking around in diapers and your diapers falling off. I'm like, oh God.
I just felt really weird seeing somebody call Jensen Ackles grandpa. That was weird to me.
Right?
I would like to make an observation about
A theory.
no, an observation about Homelander. Homelander, we realize now, has like this idealized, unrealistic view of fatherhood and family.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what does he base his idea of what fatherhood should look like and what being a family should look like?
He didn't
Where
have
is
an
he getting
example
this from?
growing up.
Right. So where is he getting it from? Because he
Probably
is
TV and books.
right. So he automatically thinks, oh, he's my father. So we have a connection. But, you know, we learned in a previous conversation um, Soldier Boy that he didn't necessarily care too much for his dad.
Or rather, his dad didn't care too much for him.
Didn't care too much for him. But
Because
then,
he tried to impress his dad.
yeah. So we have these two different versions of fatherhood, and I just think Homelander really just not having or just lacking the knowledge of what a family is and not understanding that it's not black and white when it comes to family.
Yeah.
When it comes, sometimes it's
If
gray.
you think about it, the way that he was raised, that's to be expected. What I thought was interesting is, and we've seen this since they introduced Soldier Boy and they started kind of going towards that direction of the reveal of him being Homelander's biological father, because we see so many different similarities between them, even though they had never met each other, never been around each other, never knew about each other. There's still the similarities. When Soldier Boy is talking to Butcher about his own father, he talks about, yeah, I was this, I was that, I was, I was an all-American boy, and my father, like, his father sent him to boarding school. He was like, his dad was rich. But he was like, yeah, the story of Soldier Boy was supposed to be that he grew up in the streets of hard knocks and blah, blah, blah. He was like, that wasn't me. I grew up in boarding school. I went to boarding school. I was a rich, I was a rich kid. He was like, but my dad thought that I was his words, or the way that they described, I was a ponce. So I enlisted in the army. I signed up for Vought's trials. I was the first soup, you know, I did this, I did that. I came home, they threw me a parade, and Butcher was like, oh, your dad was proud of you then? He was like, no, he said I took the shortcut. He called me a disappointment. And it's that thing where you see, even though he talks about his old man, you could tell that hurt him, because he really wanted to live up to his dad's expectations. And I think his dad's rejection kind of led to him being the asshole that he eventually became, not just to his team, but I mean, think about MM's wall at the beginning of the season. He had nothing but articles about all the soups and all the stuff that they've done. And like we know, he's killed several members of MM's family. I don't know what it is about those two that they are drawn to each other like a magnet, but there is that connection there. But to hear Soldier Boy talk about his own dad and how he was a disappointment to his dad, and to know that he really wanted to please his father, and then because he wanted so bad to have his own family, we find out that he looks at that and he thinks it's weak. So when Homelander is telling him all this stuff, oh yeah, we can really be a family now. I'm your blood, you are my father. We can be a family. Here's my son. This is your grandson. And he's thinking that this will soften Soldier Boy up. Soldier Boy is just like, I hate that I really missed so much, because if I had been here to raise you, I could have made sure that you weren't a pussy. And Homelander's like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
so he basically became his own father.
He became his own father, and Homelander was him. Looking for
he saw him. He saw himself in his and I think he realized, well, not realized, but I think he understood, rightly or wrongly, where his father was coming from, and adopted that, and like, oh yeah, he's a pussy.
That toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
To be a real man, you gotta be tough, and that sort of mindset.
That speech was so cold-blooded. He was just like, I wish I could have raised you. He's like, me too. Said, then you wouldn't have been a pussy. Well, what?
He would have been so weak.
Right.
Weak.
I was like, damn, son.
Wow.
Like,
Okay.
like he just dressed him down. It's like, and Homelander he's like, he didn't know what to do. He's like, do I punch him? Do I hug him? Do I try to talk him out of it? Like he was just standing there, like,
He was upset.
uh,
He was like, this is the one thing I have wanted this whole time. And whatever, you know.
yeah, he went from the smug look he had when he pulled Ryan out to just being like, to his jaw just like slack, like the shit.
Well, that's the thing, because at that point he does like grab Homelander, like he's gonna kill him. And is at this point, you know, Ryan is still there. Ryan is seeing all of this, and Ryan is like, stop, stop, stop. And then he blasts Soldier Boy, and I was like, oh, this shit is about to get ugly as fuck. Mm-hmm. Because of course, Soldier Boy has no kind of connection to Ryan, grandson or not. He's like, fuck you, you just blasted me. So he blasts Ryan.
Yeah.
Ryan.
Remember, he's also from a different time.
Mm-hmm.
The time he's from, you can picture kids around.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
you can throw him off the roof without people judging you and saying, you could have killed him. It's like I'm building him character. Teach him how to fly.
Yeah, I mean, again, nature versus nurture. But you know, he blasts Ryan. Ryan gets knocked out a little bit, and of course, Homelander is going towards him, like, oh my God, what are you okay? He gets mad. They're getting ready to fight, and Butcher is getting ready to go after Soldier Boy, because of course Ryan is, I don't know what you call the term. He's not his stepson, but you know, he's Becca's son. And you just attacked him. So now Butcher is like, oh yeah, all bets are off. I'm about to whoop your ass now. So then it just becomes this big free-for-all. Because Butcher and Soldier Boy are starting to go at it. And then Maeve starts going at, because I think Homelander is about to go after Soldier Boy himself. And then Maeve comes in. He's like, Maeve, not now. I got bigger fish to fry. Maeve's like, I don't. And they get into this epic battle. Now I'm like, this is the Maeve that I have been wanting to see. Mm-hmm. Like, I love her fight scenes, because that's when you really see how strong her character is. And I'm like, why have they been giving her background shit for 3 seasons? That's another thing I think that pisses me off too, is because her character, when we do see her, one, she's not in the show very often. We don't get to see her a lot. So I just feel like it's kind of sort of been a waste of her character. Now, I don't know if they're bringing her back in season 4, because she is technically just human right now. She's a regular schmuck, as she says, because, you know, she takes Soldier Boy's blast during this fight scene, but she should have been given so much more to do instead of just being this random background character. Because in this scene, we see she's fucking strong. Like, she is whooping Homelander's ass. She's the only person that I can recall seeing who actually did some damage to him to where he started bleeding. I mean, the guys did it too, but it was 3-on-1 at that point.
Yeah. Right. When in the comic book world, she's like number 2 behind Homelander.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just that the gap is so big.
Yeah, but apparently it's small enough that she could cause some damage to him, because his nose starts bleeding. Yeah. He was like, oh, okay, so we're gonna do this. Okay, let's do this. So again, they start fighting. They're kicking each other's ass around. Ryan is over here knocked out. Butcher and Soldier Boy get ready to be at it. And Soldier Boy's like, what the fuck? Like, you were the one who wanted him dead, so why are we doing this? And Butcher was like, you can't fuck with the kid. He was like, why? What is the kid to you? Like, he was like, that's my wife's son. And then he was like, wait, Homelander fucked your wife? I was like, oh, don't say it like that, because that's really going to piss Butcher off, which it does.
Right.
They start fighting. And in the midst of all this fighting going on, here comes Annie and Hughie and MM. Hughie is going to like the he's going to like the control room. He gets on the intercom and tells everyone, "Hey, there's a terrorist threat. You need to vacate Voight Tower." So everybody starts leaving. Now I would say this before we get back to this fight. Ashley is a cold bitch because she's getting ready to go to the helipad, and her assistant Ashley is with her. And she turns around, she looks at her, she was like, "Where are you going, Ashley?" She's like, "With you, Ashley." "Oh, I'm sorry. The helicopter is only for senior vice presidents and above." Sorry. I was like, "You bitch. You bitch. You bald headed bitch." But anyway.
I just snatched that fucking wig.
Man. Man. Anyway, so going back to all of this. So Annie and MM come in. They start fighting, or I don't know if I really want to go. MM doesn't fight. MM tries to pull a gun, and of course, you can't bring a gun to a superhero fight because that's just not gonna work. Annie is having not a great day because Soldier Boy is just throwing her around like a rag doll. In the meanwhile, while all of this ass kicking is going on in Voight Tower, Frenchie and Kimiko are in the lab trying to cook up this neurotoxin, this nerve toxin, and here comes the security. And Kimiko starts to pull her maniac pose, which I thought was cute. I was like, okay, here we go with the dance and the music references. And she does have her superpowers back because she injected herself with the V last episode. So the soldiers come in, they start trying to shoot, and she just goes on a rampage. And I was like, this is so painful to watch because I literally felt every stab, every whatever. I was sitting there watching it like this, like, oh, this hurts. Like, oh, like, I'm sorry, all these people who are running in here with these guns, the minute she drops the first 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of y'all, the rest of y'all should take note and back the fuck up and go back out the room. Like, why are you still sitting here giving her fresh things to kill? It makes no sense. But anyway, one of the soldiers does get a shot off when she tries to divert. She tries to push the gun away. It ends up shooting Frenchie in the leg. Now, you know, at this point, I'm pissed off. I'm like, kill them all. Kill them all. Kill them all. Because y'all done shot my baby Frenchie now. But in the midst of all of this fighting and shooting and everything going on, Frenchie somehow manages to finish making the Novichok. I was like, how? Like, anyway, we know that's not realistic. So anyway, he gives her the Novichok. He of course can't run, can't walk, so he tells her to go take it. So when she does get to Voight Tower, they are having this again, they're having this battle. Maeve and Homelander are pretty much, they are like, I looked at their fight and it was like watching Captain America fight Captain America. Like, I can do this all day, because they're trading blows and they're doing the same amount of damage to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Over in the other room, like I said, Annie's getting her ass whipped. Butcher is getting his ass whipped, but he's got enough of an edge that he destroys Soldier Boy's shield. I was like, okay. So at this moment, Soldier Boy is pissed now. His shield is gone. He knocks Butcher out the way. And Kimiko comes in with the Novichok and she tries to go to him. But of course, he has great peripheral vision, apparently. Grabs her, throws her. Here comes Annie. Annie gets up. She's about to start doing her little starlight thing. There's not enough power. Hughie looks at everything on the screen, on the security screen, and he's like, oh no, Annie's about to die, because Soldier Boy looks like he's about to start powering up. But Hughie has a vial of Temp V that was on the ground when they left the office. So he considers taking it, even though he knows it will kill him. And he decides, no, this is what I can do. He starts turning up all of the lights in the room so that it powers Starlight, because again, her power comes, she gets more powerful the more electricity there is. Now, I will say this. I understand how great that moment is supposed to be. It felt so cheesy to me.
Which moment?
The moment where she's powering up and she
Oh,
looks over and then she starts lifting off the ground,
levitating.
and it's just like, oh, it just felt so cheesy to me. But I was like, okay, this is what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be cheesy. Soldier Boy is looking at her like, what the fuck is going on? I was like, why does he look surprised at this? He's a suit. Why would he be surprised? Like, oh my God, she's floating in the air. I'm sure he's seen powers similar to hers or as good as hers. I just don't think he would have been in shock that long, that so long that it took him to realize, oh, I need to power up and destroy this bitch. I feel like he should have been done it.
I don't know. I don't. He's like his son. He's the supreme level of confidence. Like whatever she's doing it's just lights. You know what I mean? So he's not thinking and he just threw her around the room like she was nothing.
Yeah.
He's already feel like she's given him her best shot and it did nothing.
Yeah.
So whatever she's doing is not of consequence. So okay, I'm gonna pick up my little piece of shield, I'm gonna stab and decapitate her. And he wasn't expecting her to blast his ass like she did.
Yeah. But I don't know. I guess I feel like, well, then again, we don't know. I think up until this particular moment when he got into this fight, we didn't know if he knew how to control the blast as well. You know what I'm saying? Like we see him use it in times when he was going through his PTSD or times when he was pissed off. Like I said, I think him looking at her, even in that, like, oh, what is she doing? I don't know. I feel like he should have felt how much power she was gaining, because I don't know.
No, he has a little bit of control. He has enough control to be able to call it, but remember, it takes him a long time when he's making a conscious effort to do it.
Which is why he should have started when he first saw her lighting up.
It's not going to be the first thing he thinks of because it kind of leaves him vulnerable.
Yeah.
So it's easier to just grab this piece of shield and cut her head off because she's right there and he's literally right there.
Yeah.
And remember, he has a supreme level of confidence in his abilities.
Yeah.
He's not thinking that whatever she's doing is going to affect him.
Right.
Not in any significant way. He, like I said, he just threw her around the room like she was nothing.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, so she blasts him and he's looking kind of like, oh, what the fuck was that? And so I guess at this point he's just like, okay, you know what? I'm done. I'm about to kill all y'all motherfuckers. So he actually gets ready. Like, he looks like he's about to get ready to start. And then in the midst of all this, Homelander and Maeve are still fighting. Homelander has now gouged out one of Maeve's eyes. And as she's watching everything going on, she finds something on the ground. She turns around and sticks it in his ear. Y'all, I paused the TV because I was like, I felt that go through my skull. That shit. Like, even now, my ear is like throbbing because I'm talking about it. But yeah, so they've both done like horrible damage to each other. I'm sure Homelander doesn't have an eardrum at this moment. Maeve does apparently does not have a right eye. And at this point, after Starlight has knocked out, or knocked down, I should say, Soldier Boy, this is when Butcher and Maeve, they all grab him because they realize the nerve agent is on the floor. They grab him so that they can put the mask over him. And when he realizes what they're doing, He's like, oh no, y'all not finna put me back in that fucking box. I'm not going back. So then he starts powering up. Maeve sees what's going on. Starlight looks at Maeve, and Maeve is just looking like, oh shit. So right before he lets out this blast while he's still powering up, she runs and pushes him out the window. And they are falling, falling, falling. And he finally lets loose with this blast, and it takes out several floors of the Voight Tower and some surrounding buildings. And yeah, they just disappear. So after this, Homelander is still ready to fight. He's getting ready to attack Butcher, and Ryan is there, and Butcher is trying to reach Ryan, hey Ryan, are you okay? And Homelander is about to fight. He was like, you know what? Y'all just fucked up my whole night. I thought I was gonna reunite with my daddy, have father, son, and grandpa time, 3 generations. It was gonna be cool. Y'all just fucked that whole thing up. So now I'm about to fuck y'all up because y'all just really ruined my life. And Ryan sees that this is about to be a problem. And he goes to Homelander. He was like, Dad, I want to go. Let's just go. And of course, Butcher's like, Ryan. I'm like, why would you think that Ryan would go with you? You treated him like shit the last time he saw you.
Right.
Like, I know it was kind of hard for William to look and be like, oh, he really wants to be with Homelander. But Homelander has never treated Ryan like shit from the moment he met him and found out about him. He may not have been the best example for him, but he's never, like, he's always, it seemed like he's always put Ryan first. And I think Ryan sees that. He's like, look, Dad, I want to go. Let's just go. And when Butcher calls Ryan's name, Ryan looks, he walks over to Homelander's other side and he grabs his hand. And then he looks at Butcher like, now what?
Okay, so I hear what you're saying, and I'm going to do something that I don't like to do. I'm going to give the writers too much credit.
What?
And
Wait,
and
we gotta
say
write this down. Hold up.
because it's possible that Ryan now realizes the situation he's in and knew that if he let it go any longer, Homelander was gonna kill Butcher.
Yeah. So yeah,
I mean, because think about it. If once Ryan realizes that things can
Homelander's
go,
about to kill
everybody, he's like, you know what? Let me just calm him down. He's been around long enough. Let me calm him down because he's gonna kill Butcher, and Butcher might really be my only way out of this. So I'm gonna give the writers some credit that they have Ryan doing this. I know it's probably not true, and I know it's a stretch, but I'd like to think that Ryan isn't gonna go down the I was going to say down dark path, but after that last scene, I don't know. That was the inspiration for the panel that I'm going to do, the Father Knows Worst panel.
Yeah, because if you think about it, as far as Ryan can tell, like, everybody keeps telling him Homelander is this bad person, but Homelander is the only person who has actually shown him genuine kindness.
Yeah. Nothing but.
Butcher was nice to him because of Becca.
Yeah. But he's also been mean to him a couple of times too.
Who, Butcher?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I know that, but what I'm saying is, as far as Ryan, like, I don't think he's looking at Butcher like, oh, he might be my only way out of this. I think at this point he's really like, you know what? I've seen nothing but niceness and kindness from my dad, and him having my best interests at heart. Because again, Ryan is young. He doesn't know what Homelander did to Becca.
No.
He just knows that for whatever reason, Becca was afraid of Homelander. And as far as Ryan knows, I mean, think about it. In this show, Ryan should be like maybe in between 11 and 12. He's probably only thinking, oh, Becca was scared of Homelander because he's the most powerful superhuman in the world. Yeah. And she might have been afraid that he was going to take me. I mean, Ryan, that could be the whole reason why Ryan,
I know. I'm trying to. I'm trying to
I
help Ryan
know.
out. I'm trying to
I
help
know.
Ryan out here. I
I know.
really. I want. I want to. I don't want him to be like his dad, but I
I
think
know.
after that last scene, I don't. I don't think that's avoidable.
Right. We'll talk about that last scene in a minute. Let's go to the other couple of things. So what we find out is that Maeve is alive.
Hmm.
Ashley and Ashley back in Vault Tower, they see surveillance footage of the guys, the boys, and Kimiko pulling her out of an alley, and she does look
Oh,
hurt.
yeah. Back to Maeve though.
Mhm.
We know she's alive, but they're treating her publicly as if she's dead.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
Ashley on the security camera, when they see her, Ashley looks and she's like, delete,
Yeah.
secure delete. So she's like, yeah, and I think for her, maybe in her mind, that kind of absolves her from her part in Maeve's abduction and all this other stuff. But no, Ashley, you're still a crappy human. But I mean, she does at least hide that part, the fact that Maeve is alive. And then we see Maeve in MM's apartment. She is with Elena. She is very bruised, very broken, but she is, and she's very human right now.
Yeah. Because she can't heal anymore like
She
she did
can't
before.
heal. Yep, like she said, it's gonna take her a while, just like all the regular schmucks in the world. But she is alive. She's leaving with Elena, and she's gonna go hide somewhere where Homelander can't find her. Which, I mean, at this point, I don't even know why Homelander would want to deal with her, because he's probably gonna look at her like, "Ha ha, you're weak." But I know it's an ego thing. He's gonna be like, "Oh, you did this to me. You betrayed me. You did this. Okay,
Hmm.
whatever." Um, Soldier Boy is back. I don't know if he's back in Russia, but he is with Mallory. He is back in a chamber. And
He's not in Russia. They got him in some CIA secure facility.
yeah, yep. The Deep. The Deep, yeah, Cassandra did leave him. And now she's doing the talk show circuit with her own book, talking about how bad of a person he is. And he's sitting there eating, what was he eating? Ding dongs or ho hos or something,
Something like that. Yeah.
sitting on the couch crying with his art painting of him and Homelander keeping him company. I was like, you know what, you got what you deserved. I'm so sorry. You really did. But yeah, like you said, as far as the public knows, Maeve is dead. She died saving everyone from Soldier Boy, and that's the way Vought is spinning it, which is cool because nobody's looking for Maeve now. Um, Butcher is in the hospital because after all the fight and everything, after Ryan left with Homelander, he has a little more black gunk come out of his ear and he passes out. So in the hospital, the doctor is telling him, yeah, so you've got a lot of brain damage. And even if we do surgery, there's no guarantee that your quality of life will improve. And basically, you have months to live, maybe 18 at the most. Okay, so
He's
Butcher.
he's probably thinking that's enough time to come up with a plan.
Right.
Especially if it's because this last one was a suicide mission. So you're basically telling me I get another suicide mission.
Yep.
Yeah.
But back at the tower, Annie has thrown her Starlight costume and boots down the trash chute, which I'm like, you should have burned that. Don't let somebody. Do you know how much people are gonna sell that for online? Anyway, they're sitting there talking, and of course, MM invites her to join the boys, so now she's official part of the team. Here comes Butcher, looking around. Everybody's pissed off. Everybody's still pissed off at him, but it's still Butcher. He still technically leads this team, right? So I think the funny part of that conversation was Frenchie demanding that they get dental and vision and insurance, and you are not the boss of it. Just
Yeah, he's gonna be angling for something.
right. So then while they're sitting there trying to figure this out, in the background on the news, they talk about the drowning of the congressman, and Dakota Bob has now picked a new vice presidential candidate, and it's Vicky Newman. And everybody's looking like, oh shit, what the fuck? And Butcher's like, well, that cunt's gotta go. It's like, okay, so I guess that's gonna be his new thing. I mean, at this point, if she pops his head, what? He's dying anyway from brain damage. So what is it gonna matter? Homelander goes to, there's still a rally. There's a rally about, against Starlight, still supporting Stormfront. Like Stormfront has been gone for a while now, y'all. She dead. She dead.
She's
Anyway,
dead and gone.
she's dead. So there's like the news that is covering this little riot or this little protest. The byline under it says storm chaser who accused Starlight of child abuse is a registered sex offender. So basically the news was on Starlight's side, and then of course the news camera is attacked by one of Stormfront / Homelander's supporters, and then all of a sudden here comes Homelander out the sky. So everybody's cheering for him, and he's like, hey, you guys are the real patriots, you're the real Americans, blah blah blah. Hey, you guys want to meet somebody? Here comes Ryan flying down from the sky, and Homelander introduces him as his son. Now this was the crazy thing. So there was a protester there who threw something at Ryan, threw a can at Ryan and hit him. And then somebody yelled liberal cunt. Was that the person who threw the can at Ryan, or did one of Homelander's supporters call that dude a liberal cunt? Because I couldn't really tell, but I was like, it would make no sense for him to call Ryan that, but he did just throw something at Ryan.
No, it was it was someone else who said, okay, you liberal fucktard, or
that's
something
what I
like
thought.
that.
But yeah, so yes, liberal fucktards. So when they do that, Homelander, of course, is pissed. Ryan is shocked because somebody just hit him. Homelander is pissed, and he lasers the head off of this dude, and the dude falls. And who is there to look at all of this?
Fucking Todd.
Fucking Todd. And Todd looks, and everybody else is quiet because they're like, oh shit, Homelander just like lasered this dude's head off. And Todd is like, oh. And Homelander's looking like, what the fuck? And then because of Todd, the whole crowd starts cheering Homelander on. Homelander's looking like, oh, okay. I just killed somebody and they don't give a fuck. Yeah, this is what I like. And then you see Ryan looking around at everything, and then this slow, very, very subtle, very small smile creeps up. And I was like,
that was very much like some other person saying, "Oh, I could kill someone in Times Square and no one would say it." Damn.
There.
Okay, we won't go there.
We won't go there.
We won't go there. But the parallels are obvious once again.
Yeah. I was just like, okay, and that's how we end the show, with that smile from Ryan. So I was like, okay, is Ryan going to be one of the bad guys in season 4? Like, are we going to get a time jump? Because I mean, if you've seen the kid who plays Ryan, this dude is sprouting up fast.
Oh,
so he's not going to be able to play an 11, 12-year-old for
he's like the Stranger Things kids.
Yes.
Freaking college age grown adults. What other show did that? There was another show we were watching where they came back and the kid was like huge. It was a show we were watching. I can't remember what it was. It'll come to me.
Okay.
It'll come to me.
So
Carl never grew up like that, did he?
I think it was a little more subtle for Carl because the time jumps were there. There were actually like kind of sort of time jumps. Mm-hmm. And then for Carl's age, like when we started the show, he was 12, but by the time he died, he was like 16, 17, somewhere around there.
Oh, Will on Lost.
Okay.
They had to write him out.
I got
and kind of bring him back at the end briefly because he was a grown man.
Okay.
Basically.
Okay, gotcha.
And you know,
But
they were only supposed to have been on the island for like a few months.
ah,
And he looked like
gotcha.
he went from 9 to 18.
Okay. But yeah, so anyway, that's where we end season 3 with that smile from Ryan. And I'm just like, oh, this is about to be some shit. Cause now like Butcher absolutely cannot take Temp V anymore. Like cannot take it. Especially if he wants to be a part of taking down Vicky Newman.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you already and 18 months is the maximum. The doctor didn't say you had 18 months. He said 18 months on the outset.
Yeah, he said that's the best you could do.
Right. You may have 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, if that, considering the number of doses you took. So yeah, he can't do shit. Huey's not about to do shit
Mm-hmm.
because he knows the damage that probably is already done to his brain is not as advanced as Butcher's, but you know Huey has some damage because I mean, even at the towards the end of this episode, he's sitting there with a tissue pulling brain matter out of his ear. So he can't do shit. MM is not gonna do shit unless, like you said, in season 4, we find out that he actually does have some kind of powers or some kind of dormant powers, or we just see he has like some superhuman strength or whatever the case may be. Frenchie is not gonna do nothing. I mean, yeah, they got Kimiko and they have Annie, which I think is funny that, you know, in a group called the boys, the women are the strongest members, you know, physically, but
Mm-hmm.
um yeah, I don't know because you got Homelander, you got a very I don't even want to say Ryan is pissed off. He's probably at this point indifferent to the rest of them. He was probably pissed at Butcher, you know, because that was what a year that Butcher took getting to know him and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that just to kind of turn on him. And again, I understand why Butcher did it because Butcher was trying to keep Ryan safe. But you could have went about that shit a different way. And now you got two problems on your hands. Two really big problems on your hands.
Mm.
So
It's not looking good.
not looking good at all.
3 if you count Victoria. 3 problems.
True. But you know what? All you gotta do is leave Victoria the fuck alone. Leave her alone. Let her do what she's about to do because we don't know what her agenda is. Well, we kind of sort of know what her agenda is, but as far as like she told Starlight, she was like, I don't want any beef with y'all, but just stay the fuck out of my way.
Mm.
And we're good.
I'm curious to know what powers her child has.
I don't know because we haven't seen her child since she
Mm-hmm.
injected her. So I don't know. That's going to be interesting. And then, of course, we don't know if Soldier Boy is coming back for season 4. We don't know if that storyline is going to, you know,
Yeah,
I don't
that might be a dead storyline. I think that storyline's over.
I don't know if I feel like it's over, but it might be paused. Maybe just for next season because something tells me that um they probably will get another season. You know, especially I mean, shit, they got Jeffrey Dean Morgan joining next season, which I'm excited about. Another Supernatural alum.
Have they leaked what he is or what he's gonna
Nope.
do?
Mm-mm.
So it's gonna be interesting.
I do know he is filming right now, but yeah, they haven't said what it is. And I think somebody else got cast, but I can't remember who it is. I remember the next time. But yeah, it's season 4 is going to be interesting. But I think they may get a season 5. I feel like maybe season 5 would probably be it, depending on where the storyline goes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, this is not a comic that I've read, so I don't know how far that story goes. But I mean, unless you kill off Homelander and then make Ryan the next big bad. I mean, how many times can you fight, go back and forth with Homelander? It's gonna get boring after a while. It's gonna get redundant unless they do something like really, really, I don't know, unexpected out of the blue. So I don't know. I don't know. But I tell you, this season had a lot of surprises, had a lot of eye-opening moments. And I'm just sitting here like, how are y'all gonna talk? Like, we were talking about this. I remember when we covered the second season, when they did the love sausage, we were like, how are they gonna top that? And then of course they opened up the season with a huge penis exploding. And then we get hero gasm. So I'm just like, what? I don't even know if I want to ask, what are you guys going to do to top this next season? Because I'm almost scared of what kind of imagination that will take.
Um, well, I don't even know. I don't know. I don't even know. You're right. I couldn't have expected to start the season with a big penis door, and
Right.
I don't know. I don't know where can they go with this now.
I don't know.
Where can they go? I have no idea. Especially with Jeffrey D. Morgan, like I don't think there's a correlation to what is happening in the comic books. I really don't think there is.
I don't know. I don't think
So
so either.
because they're totally going. Well, I mean, they have some elements of what's in the comic book, but they've changed so much.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Yeah.
in a bad way. It's just it's different.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah. I mean, and that happens a lot of times with adaptations, but I'm just like, they're gonna make me want to go read it, and I just don't have the time to get sucked into comics. I didn't hit the Powerball the last few weeks. I don't have like money to just sit at home and just immerse myself in this stuff. And that's what I'm gonna have to do between this and Umbrella Academy and a lot of the other stuff that we watch. I just don't have the time. I really want to. And then I'm
Yeah.
sitting here thinking, like, I have it on in the background. I'm like, damn, I haven't watched Diabolical yet. I need to watch
Yeah, I
that.
haven't watched it either. There's so much. I don't know. There's so much. There's so much stuff.
And then we got Invincible getting ready to come back finally. We got Shadow and Bone getting ready to come back in a few weeks.
Yeah, and next week is shot because we're gonna be at Atlanta Comic Con,
Atlanta ATL Comic Convention.
ATL Comic Convention.
We got Ant-Man coming up this week, and we're doing our Arthurian Legends recording for February for next week, which is going to be A Knight's Tale. So it's a lot. I don't. I would love to. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe if I decide to do another solo cruise this year, maybe I'll just take some stuff and just read on the deck while we're at. I don't know. That I feel like that's gonna be the only way I can actually sit down and like concentrate long enough to read. But I do kind of want to see where the story for the boys, like what is it doing in the comics and where it goes. I don't know, because the boy, I don't think it's still currently running as a comic, correct?
No, it's over.
Because this comic, this comic
it's done its run.
Okay. So I don't know. I'm thinking. I'm gonna have to try and figure that out. But then I'm like, I don't want to spoil anything that might happen. I don't know. I figured out. Whatever. You got anything? Look, you got any final thoughts about The Boys season 3?
No, I think I said everything I wanted to say.
We had fun with this season though.
We did. It was fun. There were some fun moments, some explosive moments.
I'm telling you that
The Soldier Boy storyline was really, really well done. I'll say that. It was really well done.
Right.
So props to them for that.
I enjoyed that. I loved seeing Jensen in this. Now all they have to do is add Jared, which I know I think they're trying to figure out a way to add Jared in. I don't know if it's going to be like a guest spot or if they're going to like actually put him in for a couple of episodes. But Kripke seems to be bringing a lot of his supernatural folks, so I'm not going to complain about that. I have no complaints.
And there's nothing wrong with it either.
Nothing, because
Mm.
they're doing an awesome job.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very curious and I'm very fearful of what season 4 is gonna look like. Like, I just don't know if I'm ready. So we got a whole maybe a year, because I don't think they've announced when season 4 is supposed to come back. But again, they just started filming, I think maybe a few weeks ago. So they're gonna be in production for probably several months, and then they've got post production. So I would guess maybe sometime next year. Let's hope, because I
Yeah.
don't know if I can wait till 2025. Like, these long hiatuses kill me.
No, what's terrible is all the stuff starts at the same time. So when they end, they all have the long hiatus. And so there's nothing going on while we wait.
Well, other stuff, but a lot of it is stuff that we either
Ye-
can't or don't cover,
Right.
just because it may not fall within our little wheelhouse. But I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we got lots of Marvel stuff coming up this year, so that'll take. I think that'll take the place of some of it. So, we'll see. But let's see. I think the only thing I am going to mention is, as you mentioned, Atlanta Comic Convention, or ATL Comic Convention. We will be doing that next weekend, February 24th, 25th, and 26th. Let's see, myself, Casey, Michelle, we will be doing 2 Walking Dead based panels. Anthony and I will be doing a Father Knows Worst panel, and I'm sure we will be talking about Homelander in that panel, as long as
And Soldier Boy.
and Soldier Boy. I mean, we probably can throw Butcher in there too, since he was
Oh,
kind of
Butcher.
sort of a father figure. I know we're going to talk about Nolan. We have to talk about Nolan. So, we'll talk about some other things too. But yeah, so we'll do that. And again, the convention will have lots of Walking Dead people. I think the count is now 12 people from The Walking Dead. The Hobbits will be there from The Lord of the Rings. They've got other stars coming. They've got voice actors coming. They have featured cosplayers. Of course, they're going to have vendors and all this other stuff. So, if you guys are in Atlanta next weekend, come check it out, February 24th through the 26th at the World Congress Center. You can find the convention information at www.atlcomicconvention.com. You can find our information on fandomhybrid.com. I will also post the information on our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter feed. So if you are, interested in coming, come check us out. Come listen to our panels. Come participate. It will be interactive. So we will be talking, but we will also be talking to the audience, getting, audience comments, and, just having some fun geek chatter, as we like to do. So come join us for that. And we hope to see you there. If you are there, come say hi. Let us know who you are. But for now, that is it for our show. You can find us online at www.fandomhybrid.com. We are on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Fandom Hybrid. You can chat with us on our Discord channel. You can watch us on our YouTube channel, and you can you can listen to us on all major podcast streaming platforms. Thanks for listening. We hope you join the conversation next time.